And action. We're live. What's
Hello.
up, Poof? Wait a second, Poof. What are you wearing?
My name is Princess Leia Organa. Hi, nice to
Oh,
meet
I'm sorry.
everybody.
I referred to the wrong name. Okay, Princess Leia.
You like this?
Nice
I've
to
been
meet
trying to
you.
mess with it this whole time to try and get them like they don't look accurate, right? Even.
I was gonna say, it kind of looks
Yeah.
like the poop emoji.
That's
I
what
know.
I was gonna say. Literally, poop
I know
guys,
how
is it
people
poop
with hair feel
emojis?
now. People have to like design their hair and sit in the mirror and try and get it right. It took me like 30 minutes to get this looking right, and now it just looks like poop again. Thanks,
I
Freddie.
like the imperfection of it though. It gives it, it's a style. It's a
It's got
vibe.
character.
And how embarrassing! I thought everyone was gonna wear their Leia buns. Nope, just me.
Guys,
That's
come
okay.
on.
I
We
got
dropped the ball.
buns.
We really did. We dropped the ball. We need the chat to decide: is Poof wearing poop emojis or are those Leia buns? Like,
These are space buns. Totally
Which-
space buns.
I don't know.
Come on,
Let's see
chat.
what the chat says.
Come on, chat.
What do you guys say in the chat? Okay, so first of all, what is this live about? Besides Poof's buns, this live is about the Holocron unboxing experience. So we're really excited. We have the some of the art team here today, and we're going to do a fun show and tell. So before we do, there's some new faces, but we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves in case you're new, and shout out to you if this is your first live stream that you're tuning into. And if you're watching the replay as well, shout out to you. But let me start by saying I'm Steph Sudo, head of community, and I am the host of these live streams. And I'm going to popcorn over to Princess Leia, aka Poof.
Oh man, I'm getting DMs and people are spamming general chat with screenshots of this hat and what I look like. I am Poof, community manager. You'll see me a lot in the Discord, hanging out with the community. I'm so excited to be here. I promised everybody the Leia buns, so here they are. And yeah, I'm excited for. Thank you, Papas. Thank you.
You got love in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a good show. The unboxing experience is amazing, and I'm ready to learn more about it. And I almost burnt Kernel right there, Freddie. It was so close. I'm gonna popcorn to Luke.
Hey, I'm Luke. First live stream. I'm a technical artist. I joined 4 or 5 months ago, and yeah, had a hand in this unboxing Holocron experience. So, yeah, that's about it.
Welcome, Luke. Your debut appearance.
Don't forget the popcorn.
Yeah,
Luke.
don't forget the
Do we have
popcorn.
a unpopped kernel in the bottom of the bag?
Well, I'll popcorn to my fellow TA, Chris. It's a good segue.
Hey guys, I'm Chris Litwa. I'm a Unity tech artist. I worked quite a bit on this unboxing experience, and I think this might be my first Discord live as well, although I've been in some of the posts and YouTube videos, so really happy to be here. I'm going to popcorn over to Harry.
Hey guys, I'm Harry. I'm the CG supervisor. I'm in charge of making sure the 3D stuff gets done. Yeah, I've been here I guess a few times now. So I'm an old face. No new faces here.
You're popular, Harry.
Yeah,
At this point.
sure. I'm gonna popcorn over to Lacoon.
Okay, hey everyone, I'm Li Kong Wang, a senior concept artist at Ongqing Studios. I'm very happy to be here today for our live stream, and we're going to showcasing the Star Wars unboxing backgrounds that I had the pleasure of designing. And as a big fan of Star Wars, this project has been a dream come true for me. And I'm very excited to share my love for this franchise with all of you. I hope you will enjoy. And I will pass it to Fred.
Hello. I think a lot of you guys already know me, Freddy or Pizza. I'm a CCO for Ongqing Studios. I maintain the vision of the visuals for everything that we create in the company and having to do with cryptoys. So I provide a space for all these amazing, talented artists to do, bring their goodness to what we're doing, and that's really, keeping it simple, the extent of it.
Can we get hoodie visibility? Jason wants hoodie visibility.
Oh, I could be like those guys at the airport with the little things, right now.
I love the hoodie. I really do.
I will popcorn to Chris. Other Chris.
Hey everybody, I'm one of the 5 Chris's at the company. I'm Chris Peterson. I'm the one of the senior 3D generalists. I kind of get to work on a variety of stuff, everything from modeling, texturing, lighting, rendering, and I worked on the Holocron and on some of the unboxing experience. And popcorn back to Steph.
Oh my God, I got popcorn. Wow. Wow, I feel honored. Thank you. By the way, I was just realizing that it's 4 different people's, Luke, Chris Squared, and Lacoon, all of their debuts. So come on, guys, give them some love in the chat. And that's awesome.
Huge.
I just realized that. That's great. All right. We're always trying to get more of the team. I'm telling you, there's so many team members. And yeah, Kevin, shout out to Kevin. He's also on the team. He's like, hey, new art homies I never get to see. So that's awesome. All right. So actually, I'm gonna popcorn over to Freddie because he's the one who has all the show and tell for you guys. But I think, yeah. Oh, we're not showing anything. Oh, never mind, guys.
What are we talking about today?
We're gonna end the live stream. We're done.
The show was strictly about the poof buns. That was it.
I thought that's what we were here for.
Oh yeah, the poof. Poof. What else can you tell us about the buns? Anything? Where'd you get them?
I ordered them online. It is like a beanie hat. It's about 83 degrees where I live, so it's a bit of a commitment to keep this on. But I'm here for the show. I'm ready to do it.
Okay, and use code POOF for 20% off, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, should I pull up the screen? Is everybody ready in the chat?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Star Wars. So let me start here by saying with the new faces that we have in the live stream today, there's a lot of hands and talent that go behind the scenes in making these experiences happen. We love to put a lot of quality and a lot of our passion into what we're doing. So like Lacoon said, she's our concept artist, and all these artists are very humble in how they presented themselves. They're unsung heroes. If it wasn't because of all the artists we have presented on the live stream, the visuals that you have today wouldn't be a reality. So my hats off to the team. That being said, here's the first unboxing. So we're gonna start with the Comma Invader. How about we go through it once, and then we can step through it and talk a little bit about what each one of the team members did.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Can't get enough of that. Jason. Yeah, never gets old. We've been working on this for a while, and every single time we see it, I think puts smiles in our faces. So let's see. Let me mute this so we can scrub through it.
Makes me want to unwrap mine. Yeah, let us know if you guys actually if you get so excited by this that you either buy more holocrons or you unbox or unwrap yours, because I have a feeling that's going to make people do that.
Hey, that even happens with the ones I have that I've purchased myself. I'm just gonna keep them intact, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna buy another one so I can open this one.
Yeah.
All right, so starting here. So for starters, I had a lot to do with the Cryptoids experience and deciding what that looked like. This one, feather on Harry's cap. This is Harry's baby, really. As far as in keeping the structure that we've established for the platform, but in the creative decisions and how we went about, each step of how this experience happens. So starting with even how our logo dissipates into this super cool
Whoa.
hypertonal that goes into the cube. So
That happens so fast. It's like you don't even realize the whole scene.
I know it's very short, and hey, there's a little bit of an art to outside of the art to pacing. How we're doing the anticipation before the next step, to build that excitement and that momentum as we progress through the experience. So that's why a little bit's so short. We want to get to the meat and potatoes. So so this is, we can start with the Holocron since it's front and center. Chris Peterson here, our generalist, which, by the way, for those of you that don't know, I've said this in the past, we have different disciplines, multiple disciplines to 3D graphics, starting with modeling, texturing, rigging, animation. And our generalists basically can pretty much handle each one of those steps. So generalists are kind of like the Swiss Army knife of 3D. And Chris here, being one of our senior generalists, can speak a little bit more to what went into creating this cube.
Okay. So basically, I was provided an initial concept design from, I believe it was Jonathan, and what he basically gave me was just a 2D drawing of kind of like the layout of what this cube would actually look like, with like the different colors. Sometimes it has material callouts on it. For example, I want the sides to look a certain way, like for the glassy areas, or what kind of metallic look he wants for all the edge work. And then what I do is I use that as kind of like a blueprint, and I start basically forming all of the shapes for the holocron sides. In this case, I actually started on the exterior of the holocron and worked my way in. I figured that would be easier. I didn't realize that holocrons had so many pieces, as I'm sure a lot of you might have noticed. But yeah, it was really fun getting to basically put it all together. And once I had it all modeled, so I had the gray shaded 3D model, I went in and basically got to texture all of it and set up some materials and whatnot for the pre-render, which the pre-render one, which is out of our 3D program. That's what Steph's background is. And then I have to make an alternative set of textures that work for our basically unboxing experience, which is what the TAs went and set up into this environment. And then once I had all of that stuff kind of set up, that's when I basically pass it off to Harry, and I'll let Harry talk about what he did on it.
Nice segue. Yeah, so I kind of was shepherding the whole thing, and the holocron, the cubes tend to be my thing. So I rigged, animated the cube, and did that stuff, and then passed all of that animation, which we can get a little more detail in later, to the TAs to integrate into this scene. I think the TAs are gonna have a lot to talk about in here, but I kind of want to jump back to Chris because he's skipping the kind of the important thing here, which is the entire background. Chris and Dave, between the two of them, built every 3D element you see besides the holocron. So it's not a little bit of work. It looks phenomenal. And also there's a lot of interpretation that goes into doing this stuff and making something that looks like it fits into this world, both in a Cryptoids world and in a Star Wars world. That's a huge thing. And really proud of everything they did here. So I kind of want to jump back to Chris to talk a little about the background build.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just going to talk about the Holocron at first, but basically the background. So we were provided a kind of like a concept from Lacoon. She did an awesome job doing some of this, and you can see some of her artwork in the back there as well. And when she provided us that kind of like a drawing or a painting rather of what everything kind of looks like. One of our other the other 3D generalists, Dave, he went in and started making a bunch of these buildings to put in here. I helped a little bit with it. This is more of Dave's baby, but basically we had to set all this stuff up inside of Maya, and we had to create the different lighting scenarios that you see between the dark side and the light side, and the initial when the cube is not unboxed yet, which involves a lot of what we call texture baking. So we basically flatten all the or we render out all of what we see, and then I believe everything is incorporated into cards and other forms of geometry that we can then put over in Unity, or actually the TAs do that. But yeah, I can't really take credit for too much of this. This is mostly Dave's work. Dave did an awesome job with it. So, and like I said, Lacoon's matte painting looks great.
Yeah, and Dave couldn't make it in today, but again, Dave's one of our senior journalists, Swiss Army Knives of 3D, and a total Star Wars fan. So he totally owned this thing. I don't know how much of the magic trick I want to reveal here, so it wouldn't kill the magic. But like Chris was just saying here, some stuff it's like 3D models. Some stuff is what he mentioned, just cards. Basically, it's almost like an image of a 3D model, but then it gets put on a flat polygon. And basically, what that allows us to have is more efficiency in the real-time engine as we go through the experience. And then the very background, which I want to let Lacoon talk a little bit about, and just the general environment overall, that's what we call a matte painting. So Lacoon, what is a matte painting?
I didn't prepare for this one.
Uh-oh.
Okay, my painting is just use photos, real photos, and like put them together, and to to show the depth of this environment, and I think one of the highlights was combining on-chain signature colorful nebula with the Star Wars universe. So yeah, so I think I did pretty good job on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
She totally did. And this is another way that we can, for I've said this in the past too, we have to maintain a balance between quality and the amount of polygons and textures and memory that we can use in the real-time engine. So ways to achieve that quality is by doing what we call tricks, but they're not really tricks. It's a very skillful manner of doing this. You know, and this time comes from Lacoon in painting that whole background. So it looks 3D, but it's not. It's really a painting, just like an oil painting, right? And then it fits with the lighting, the environment, and everything else that goes on. She also, you know, like Chris said, designed the overall aesthetic of what this whole environment looks like in 2D, because we can iterate through it much faster than doing all 3D and then making changes. And then the generalists grab it and then make it in 3D and layer in a way that looks like the concept. So
I personally love the Nebula Galaxy. I'm like, I want that as my background for StreamYard.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. I know it.
Yeah,
I know,
really
it's funny.
enjoyed.
Like, Chris says, you know, your Holocron background. I was like, that's a background. I thought you just floated in space all the time.
Yeah, no, this is not my background, Chris. I live here. This is where I live. And by the way, I do have to point out so many comments about like the team, seeing the faces. This is honestly why we do it, because we know you guys really appreciate like seeing us and explaining. And huge shout out to everyone on the art team. Like, it definitely takes a lot of courage to even be up here. So yeah, just like we appreciate everyone in the chat like complimenting the fact that everyone is up here, because it definitely takes courage to be up on screen.
Here we go. Moving along. So this little bit, Harry, I think this is you doing the animation for this too.
Yep.
Okay. So all throughout, basically the unboxing, just like I was saying, this is Harry's baby. He designed how this holocron moves, and in trying to stay true to the Star Wars vision at the same time that we're adapting that vision to Cryptoys and the Cryptoys IP. We did a lot of research in books and text and history of what holocrons are, how they're made, and this is kind of what came out of it. And Harry, you want to talk a little bit about the animation that went into it?
Sure. One of the things, the holocron is in some ways kind of simple. It's really just it's got a lot of parts, but only a few of them really move. And so when we rigged it up and I started animating it, the trick was, how do we get all the excitement and color and movement like we do with our puzzle cubes into the holocron experience? And we watched a bunch of Star Wars footage from different shows, and we came up with this idea of a hologram sphere. And thankfully, our partners at Disney rolled with it with us. And, we were able to kind of do some things with the holocron to kind of keep it exciting, really just keep the movement going, keep the energy up, and give that light show that I think is kind of a trademark for what we're really working on. But I can't take credit for the light show. That was actually mostly Chris over here with the TAs. I just handed off basically a moving 3D object with a bunch of little triangles blinking in and out of existence, and he took it from there. So I'm going to actually pass that on to Chris right there to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So the Holocron light show with this cool sphere coming in, and the sort of lines of light going across from those corner pieces as they light up. It was a really fun effect to work on. A whole lot of different shaders and particle systems went into this. But yeah, the idea came all the way back from our overall design, the animatic of this whole experience, and it was really fun to work on doing these corners and sort of making them unique to the dark side versus the light side environment. So there were a lot of unique factors to tackle here. It's honestly one of the more fun projects I got to work on. This light ray thing here too. There's a whole lot of tech art that me and Luke did here to unpack.
So as everyone knows, basically the technical artists grab everything that the 3D artists have created. They grab the models, the buildings, the textures, the characters, the rigs, the animations, and then assemble everything together in Unity. Now, once this assemble happens, this doesn't necessarily have lighting effects, glows, like all the fun stuff that you're seeing here. It's actually created by our technical artists and their interpretation of what this should look like. So I think Jonathan says like, all the Chris's are mad talented, and it's funny. Anybody in the chat, if you're having a baby, just call him Chris. If it's a boy, you have a talented baby.
They'll be an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Luke, do you want to talk a little bit about what went into the parts that you did for this?
Yeah, sure. So the most visible part that I had a big hand in was that big light explosion, like particles in general in the scene. So that was kind of a really fun effect to work on, just to get the Star Wars vibe within the particle effect. It just came out really cool. That's kind of the fun of doing a lot of this technical art. Like with shaders or particles and everything, you kind of see it evolving as you're creating it. So sometimes it spits out something really nice from your shader, and you're as surprised as anybody else when they see it. But like, there's a lot that goes in behind the scenes to make those kind of effects. All kinds of crazy stuff like shader graphs and particle system graphs, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to mention, I don't know if we're going to get into it next, the kind of biggest part about this, as opposed to other unboxings, is the scene transition into dark side or light side from the original scene. And that was a kind of challenging, fun effect to work on in general. Just that transition into dark side, making that transition smooth. And not only did the generalist give us all of this stuff, all these buildings and stuff that look great in the scene originally, but we have different versions for all of the different light side or dark side. So then it was on us to kind of create that transition and a smooth blend in between light side and dark side. And there's no real trickery there. Like, everything in scene, it's not a flat picture behind it that's transitioning. It's the actual scene completely transitioning, all the lights, all the particle effects, everything gradiating into that.
I have a quick question, specifically for you, Luke, because you're talking about working on the burst of light effect, right? That comes out of the unboxing. Is it, when you're working on stuff like that, is there ever like a moment where it surprises, or like, I guess I don't know how the creation of that is, but is there ever a moment where you're like surprised by what you've created, kind of?
Yeah,
right? Like,
I want to say in a few years back, it was more like that in the 3D space, where you would hit render on something and then wait 3 or 4 hours and come back to it and say, oh, wow, that looks good, or that looks terrible. Now it's getting more immediate, but there's always that you set your settings and then you run through it. You don't know instantly as you're setting those settings for most things now, until you actually play through a particle effect, or play. Mainly what we're seeing here is playing everything in sequence time together. That's where I really get that kind of effect, is like, oh, okay, once we add the character and the blister pack and the burn away and the steam, everything lined up with the correct timing, that's when you kind of get that like wow moment.
I want to say though, I think there's 2 stages of surprises for TAs. There's the first stage when we come to them and tell them, it's like, this is what we want to do, and they go like, what? You want us to do what? You know, and then they go away, and then they come back a day later or 2, and then they blow our expectations away out of the water, because they grab what they were first surprised by, and they interpret kind of what we've said, and then they just add their own flair and art to it, and just make it that much better. And then that's the second stage of surprise for everybody. At this point, you know, like Luke said, once all the elements come together, it's, you know, it's really jaw-dropping for everybody involved.
for sure.
Yep, it's the shock and awe. Like, we shock them and then they awe us. That's kind
Yeah.
of how the deal is. Every time we go into one of these unboxings, we're trying to always go a little bigger than we did before. This was a big jump. I have to really give credit to the entire team. We all had to get way more involved than you know, we had in the past, to get all the different elements in there. We asked them to make one unboxing that was actually multiple unboxings that would shift on the fly based on who you're getting. We're asking them to build scenes that were orders of magnitude more complex. You know, kudos to everybody for how much effort and putting it all in. And I wish I could call out all the different elements that go into making this, you know, pop the way it does. But even if you just look at the little foggy glow behind the lights, there's little dust motes floating around. There's all these little elements you don't see unless you stare at it really closely. But if they weren't there, it wouldn't be nearly as cool. So it really is just about layering just the right amount of more and more and more until it finally gets to that moment where you're like, I think we got it. And these guys put a tremendous amount of effort to get there. So really glad we get to show it off.
Ooh.
As you can see too, when that camera moves forward, you can see how much depth there is in the scene, and that's something that we're constantly chasing when we design, when LeCun and the concept team puts the concepts together all the way through execution for 3D, and then putting it together in the game engine. Just creating that depth that creates parallax and gives you more of an immersion into what we're doing and makes it feel more realistic, right? So at the same time that we're doing something that's extremely stylized, we're still trying to chase that balance between being completely realistic and being stylized. Ta-da! Right. Do you guys want to see another unboxing?
It's beautiful.
More comments.
Yeah, more.
Do you have a tear in your eye? It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Here we go.
I love. Oh, by the way, Hero, I really do love this comment of the light and particle effect right before the reveal. Max anxious time when unboxing.
I think that's the time where you're deciding whether you buy another cube or not. You know.
Right. Give it to me. Okay, the people are ready. They're ready. So good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll let that play all the way through so you guys could enjoy, how hard the music hits.
The music goes hard.
There's a little detail every time I see this. Again, it doesn't get old that I love, and this is coming from animation. Let me mute this. Let's see. From right here. I'm gonna step through it so you guys can really see it. But look at the facial expression on Luke. It's just all those little details of like when the saber comes out, it looks at it, it's like, yeah, I got my lightsaber, and then goes on to his action. It's all those really small details like Harry was saying before with the environment, the animation is no different. All these little details add up to the full picture.
I'll give the shout out to Henry who animated this Luke. Awesome stuff though.
Who did that wink? I know, I love the wink. That's my favorite part.
I'll add even like the little detail of the saber light, the blue light shining onto Luke's face. Like that's something that we think about. That's something that like we had to put in there to make it look realistic, like the saber shining on his face. And you can see it like right when he extends, he doesn't have that light, and then he does when the saber extends. That's like stuff that's added on the TA side after we get that animation. You know, they can't animate what the glow of the saber looks like. I mean, that's a pretty engine specific thing to do. So yeah, little details everywhere.
And as you guys can see, this, what we were saying before with the environment, the background, it's daytime, where with Vader, it was like that reddish, ominous, type environment. And those two environments happen from this one being the default night scenario.
I love that we were able to even change. I didn't even know that was possible to transition the background. Like, who would have thought about that being possible in our previous unboxings? That was really cool.
And then again, to LeCoon's prowess here, painting, she had to paint the same 3 environments for nighttime, daytime, and the dark side, in a way that fit the environment while not changing what that background is. So,
yep, very meticulously perfect to the pixel, or else you'd see it. It's
Right.
kind of, there's a tremendous amount of work. It's kind of one of those things like, oh, everything's fine, it worked fine. It didn't just. It took a lot to get it to just work, and awesome stuff. And thank you, LeCoon, because I know that I was probably the one forcing you to do the most of this work. So
Oh,
it
I
did
really
come out
enjoy
awesome.
it. Yeah, that was a big challenge for me. To be honest, I found a way to convey the different mood by playing with the different lighting and the colors. So for the dark side, I use the shade of orange and red to enhance the sense of danger, and for the light side, I use blue sky to show the goodness and the positivity. Yeah, it was a fun journey.
Yep. This is the kind of minutia that we go over. We're like, this little fern that's over here popped between one and the other when we made the transition, and we got to go fix that fern.
Wow.
All right. So let's see. Do we want to see more unboxings?
Poof's favorite is next, right?
Common Leia, the one I haven't seen yet.
Oh wait, she doesn't have the buns on the common.
Doesn't
Never
have
mind.
buns, no legendary. Yeah,
You
I'm
have
a
to
bit more
act.
bougie.
Poof is gonna act out the scene when we show the Leia with the buns. He said.
So this one, unless you guys want to listen to 15 seconds worth of music, I'll probably skip to the animation part of it.
Yeah,
Sure.
that works.
So
I can do the music if you want.
Yes.
all right, for next one, you know how we had the buns and everybody was supposed to wear them? Next one we do kazoos, and we just kazoo the whole thing.
Jerry in the chat says, "Where's Poop's buns?" Jerry, are you looking at the screen? I got them on. They're right here.
He has the buns. They're not poop. They're not poop emojis. They're actually
Yeah,
buns.
she must have got confused. She must think that.
Here we go. I'll give you a little bit of it.
You know what? No?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
love this character.
Yeah.
I think the animation, especially with the wardrobe that she's wearing, I think it looks super cool. So I know somebody asked a question earlier regarding the sound. So Disney and Lucas helped us out with the sound as far as approving and allowing us access to sound that actually represents the IP. And then hats off to our CTO Emilio, who in a past life used to be a sound engineer and actually grabbed the sound that they provided for us and cut it up in the points that we needed so that we could have smooth transitions between the clips that we're playing and the points where we give input, where the user can, all you guys, can tell it whether you want to unbox, whether you want to unwrap. So that was all he's doing. And then we also have a sound studio that we work with that did a lot of the sound effects that you hear throughout the experience.
So I think it's a good time to talk about Chris Peterson's input here. He did the blister pack for us. I don't think you've had a chance to talk about that before, huh?
No, I haven't. So the same kind of thing as the Holocrons. The 2D team, I think, did a really awesome job kind of giving me kind of like the blueprint designs of what they wanted the overall blister pack to look like. And I had to conceptualize how that would work in 3D and basically start building each of the pieces while also trying to make sure that we could still do things like spinning individual elements around or figuring out how we're going to make things glow, that kind of thing. There's a lot that goes into it. And then luckily, I was able to pass this off to the TAs and they incorporated it into this environment. I think it looks great. I can let them speak to that portion of it.
So the little bits that never talk about, it's the little rigmarole we put them through, all the way from concept, because we have multiple variations of what this blister pack could look like. And then once we settle on a few variations, then we present that to our partners, and then in conjunction with us, then we make a decision on what we think it's the best way to move forward. Once we have that, then comes a 3D, and sometimes things will translate directly from 2D to 3D. So after all the models, the textures, and everything gets put together, sometimes we have to make changes. And then that's where Chris comes in, and then he basically either has to remodel, retexture, or whether it's add a little border somewhere so it catches the light just right, or maybe a different way of mapping the textures so that the transparency, as you can see, she's encased in a kyber crystal, and there's a little bit of that glow, but we need to be able to see the character inside. So there's quite a bit of technicality and skills that have to go into it with iterations in order to get the desired result. TAs have a lot to do with this too, in the final result and what we see.
I do have to say, I like this idea, Crypto Doozy. Save the Vader audio and play it every time I walk into work. Ready to rule the world.
So I'm gonna have to ask for the comments here. How many light sides and how many dark sides do we have here?
Light side or dark side? What about on screen? What is everyone on screen? Light side or dark side?
Light side.
Huh? Poof?
Light side.
Light side? Oh, no hesitation. Poof's light side, no hesitation. Okay.
I think with me it depends on whether I'm out of coffee or not in the morning.
I didn't know there were stipulations. I can change.
No, you're already light side. Too late. Poof, you can't go back. You can't switch. We got a dark side. Just Holo said dark. Okay. Extra dark. Like Chester said. Oh, snap. I'm scared.
See, I'm just going to go dark roast then.
Dark roast.
Sticking with the coffee theme.
I'll go light side with you, Poof. I'll go light side with you.
I can see that.
Now you just need layer buns, and you'll be
I know.
fully set.
I know. Jason is light side, even though Luke whines too much. I gotta go light side. Okay.
All right. What do we have next? Are we moving from commons to rares?
Yes.
Let's go. I don't know, just seeing and listening to the music, just your heart feels like doing mischievous things. For some reason.
let's break some rules, guys. What should we do?
I haven't seen that one yet fully, maybe because
know,
I
me
haven't rolled
too.
it. But that finishing sequence was, yeah, it looks like he's ready to come after me.
Mhm.
How can you
You
not
scared?
say dark side after that?
Right.
Right?
Everyone converted to the dark side now. Tragic.
Yeah.
True.
Actually, we haven't really talked about the burn away, which is another major effect here, especially on this one more so than other ones, like with the burn away and the steam and everything else. I think there's a lot for the TAs to kind of chew on this project. So I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, for the burnaway specifically, that's a tool that's sort of been evolving since the very first Cryptoids drop. It's changed a little bit in functionality over the couple drops, but it's gotten to a really cool place where I was actually, for the real Star Wars fans out there, I was referencing a scene from Star Wars 1 where Qui-Gon puts his lightsaber through the door, I think like Newt Gunray's door. I probably watched that 100 times while I was trying to create the profile for the look of this burn, but it's very fun to work on, honestly. I'm a little bit of a pyro when it comes to the shaders, so burning stuff is pretty fun. And then Luke did all of these cool smoke effects and the shader for the pod itself as well.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on here actually, because we got an animated shader, multiple particle systems, image sequences, all kind of working together to get that full effect at the end. So yeah.
Came out pretty awesome, guys. And the fact that we could, I mean, the ask was to hide the character in the steam, and anyone who's worked in 3D, especially in real-time 3D, knows doing stuff like natural effects like steam is no joke. And especially we had glows, we had all this other stuff going on. It took a while to calibrate that, and it came out so good. And so, the characters just come out of that smoke, the steam, so well. Just really awesome to see what they pulled together after being given kind of, an impossible task.
It's one of these days we're gonna have to show these guys this shader graph, and shader graph, just to break it down, is basically like a little block that has data in it, or a piece of the data, and then you connect it to another one that goes to the next part of the data. All of that data connected basically creates the effect. And when you see what they've put together, it looks like a city of nodes connected through little noodles.
Wow.
Yes, I said noodles. I go way back when in my career. Little noodles that connect all these little data points that then create this effect. So it's very impressive.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I see there's a comment here about the inspirations or whatever. Everything we do tries to come from the inspirations. Every time we start working on any element of this, people are pulling reference, putting it up in front of everyone to look at, trying to call out what are the elements of that are really gonna, kind of the iconic moments of it. How can we, either homage to it or even straight copy it if we need to get those moments in there. There's so many places that reference shows up. The direction that Anakin spins his saber is inspired by the movies. The color of the burnaway. When we looked at Han coming out of Carbonite, we looked at the saber coming through the door. There's so many places where these colors and the story can kind of come through. So all really, it needs to feel right. The only way to do that is to kind of really look at the source and bring it back, and then interpret it.
And these are the things too that it's by the time concepts are done, coming up with ideas, it's kind of like picking the best candy out of the Halloween bag, the Halloween stash that you got. There's still so much good in there that it feels wrong to leave it on the table, because there's so many good ideas and so many good concepts that come out of the creative people that it's hard to settle on one. But as you guys can see, we settled on this one, and I think this was a good choice.
We have a request to put it back to that fire part when it's like all burnt, but it's still that fire glow. Poof. Fonz wants it as his background. Okay, Fonz, I'm going to move us for you so you can take a nice screenshot. Go for it. Take your screenshot, Fonz. Don't say I didn't do anything for you. He was like, he moved it, damn it. It was when you were talking. And Poof was like, quick, I tried to tell him.
God.
Did everyone watch the movies before working on this?
Yeah, Steph, did everyone watch the movies?
I actually did. So I had never seen Star Wars before we were in talks with them. And so, yes, I did my homework as well. Okay, even me. I did my homework. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Gosh.
Yes, we always say that there's quite a bit of Star Wars fandom. And it's funny with the 3D artists and careers. It usually goes one of two ways. It's either I watched Star Wars when I was little, and that's why I became a CG artist, or I watched Jurassic Park. Those are like, for the most part, the two that people always, go back and forth. But, we pride ourselves in doing a ton of research, and I always bring these guys out because, these weren't necessarily purchased for this job. This thing just sit on my desk.
Oh, let's see the book.
Yeah, and again, it's like, it's super cool the fact that these are the kind of things that that, for instance, in these books, I love them because, just like I was saying, a lot of ideas get left on the table, and there's so many good ideas, and we can only really execute on one. And this is why I love these art books, because it kind of shows you the behind the scenes and all the hard work the artists put together, and so many creative ideas that didn't make the cut, but you get to see them all through these books, which is why I'm usually surrounded by them. And I wish I could show you this little application where we're showing, this presentation through today. There's a lot of content that we have iterating through not just Star Wars, but Cryptoids, that it's someday it'll be a reality, and you guys will get to see it too.
Okay, you got people excited.
Yeah. All right. How are we doing for time?
Okay, we are at an hour. I know we weren't planning on showing all of them, right? But maybe we'll show like one more.
All right. Which one do you guys want to see?
Should we
Any
take a vote?
rarities in particular?
Ultra because of the glitches and the.
Oh yeah. Good one.
Call.
Good call out.
All right. Let's go there to the end.
Because I know I'll never see one.
Yeah, guys, look at this one now, okay? A 1% chance of pulling this. Soak this in. This one, you might not ever see this.
No,
Some
for
people
nothing.
in the chat already have an ultra. Who in the chat has an ultra girl? Anyone? There's 100 each character, so.
I've been really surprised on how random it's been, and just looking at Twitter and people posting. There's quite a few people that have gotten ultra girls. Some people is like, I got 100 and got one. Some people say I got one on my first pool.
Yeah, there was one person, they only bought one and they literally pulled an Ultra Girl. Imagine
it's
that.
amazing.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jenny in the chat, she pulled one on the live stream.
Hero too. Hero
Shout out to
154 above.
Hero.
All right. I think if my math in clicking buttons is correct, this is one of them.
We got an Ultra Grail. Let's go. I feel like we just pulled this. Yeah, the glitch.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that glitch.
I feel like this one for this little bit. Let's go through with sound. It's so good.
The glitch is so good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so good.
So again, this is a technical artist, amazing skills, and putting these crazy shader nodes together to make that effect happen. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit about it. I know we're running a little long on time, but I think it's worth you guys hearing what went into it.
Sure. So the effect is, of course, based on the scene from episode 4 where Leia's the hologram coming from R2-D2, iconic scene. So we looked at that many times and scenes from other shows, and just sort of came up with something that looked like the original movies, but sort of had our own Cryptoys flair to it. And it went through so many different iterations, and it's just really fun to work on. The glitches is my favorite part too. It's very, very interesting technical solution for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was there like multiple attempts at the glitch before you got it right? For you like,
yeah,
that's the one right there.
So many. Yeah.
Because it just looks so like perfect.
It looks so
every
natural,
glitch,
right?
Yeah, it just looks great. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. It took a long time to get there, and a lot of advice from Harry and Freddie too.
Yeah, we were. I should say we. Really, Chris and me complaining. We were iterating on this up until like the last week. We were still kind of getting it tied in because it had to be perfect, right? And it came out so good. I mean, this feels exactly right? You look at it, you're like, that's the iconic, kind of hologram you want to see, and with all the effort, it really shows.
Yeah, really awesome. Let's pull some Ultra Girls tonight, folks.
Let's do it.
Who's unboxing some Holocrons tonight? I know someone had said they're going to unbox some. I'm off to unbox some Holocrons. But hey, you might pull an Ultra Girl tonight. That'd be awesome. Let us know if you do.
It's funny. Every time I unbox one of mine, I wish and hope for an Ultra Grail because I'm chasing. I wouldn't keep it though. If I ever pull an Ultra Grail, it's not going to be taken out of the pack, and it will be donated to the community. We'll make a fun game of some sort and have somebody win it.
Nice. Okay. We can look forward. Let's all hope that Freddie pulls one then.
I just want the excitement of it.
On a live stream too, so we can document it. That's the best. Awesome. All right. Wow. I feel like we really covered a lot. And there's always so much more to cover. Like, honestly, there's like, we really could have gone into every single one, but that would have been hours. But hey, it's nice that we had so many people call out the fact that they love seeing everyone's face. We have 4 new people that you've never seen before that have been working with us for a while. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for showing up live and everyone who watches the replay of this. And thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Lacoon. Thank you, Chris and Chris for sharing. I honestly feel like I learned a lot tonight. I'm like even more excited to potentially unbox. I still haven't unboxed any of my holocrons, but maybe I'll think about it.
You're not
I'll
supposed
There needs to
consider
be there needs to be just a special event just for that. Just Steph some boxes.
Steph actually unboxed his holocrons this time. I said I might do it on this live stream, but I didn't get enough peer pressure, and we're running out of time, guys. So I'm sorry. It's gonna have to be another time.
Just as I'm always thanking the artist, and in this case, we're talking about the art team. There's a lot more people in this company that make this a reality, make it happen. So I always want to, throw some kudos that way. We have an engineering team, marketing team. We have support team. Almost never gets mentioned, but I always want to remember to mention our PMs that are extremely important, and project managers, to being able to basically keep all these projects in line so that we can deliver in time. There's a lot of moving parts, and then without this organization, this doesn't happen. And then also super important, the community. Without the community, none of this goes anywhere, right? So it's like we're putting our love and our passion behind what we're doing. We're trying to create something that you guys enjoy, and it's always you guys is supporting us that is gonna be able to keep us moving forward and creating more for you. So thank you.
We appreciate you all. Thank you. Make sure you like the live, and so we can be motivated to do more of these. We are doing one next week, though, next Thursday. We haven't really announced it yet, but stay tuned. We'll announce it. You can find it if you can snoop on the YouTube. You can find
This is Steph unboxes.
That's not unboxing. Maybe I'll unbox if I get enough peer pressure. Like, I just haven't felt the peer pressure yet. I really haven't. So I'm gonna wait.
All right, I have a feeling the campaign's gonna start now.
Yeah.
Bring it on. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next live stream. Thank you, Princess Leia, for showing up tonight.
Of course, glad to be here.
We appreciate you. All right, peace, guys.